remakes and remastered editions that are practically flooding the market like an invading horde, it was only a matter of time before EA dusted off its old rope and decided to see if it could get any money for it. This old rope is the Command & Conquer series. I won't delve into the series' 25-year history, not just because we'd be here all day, but because it's not really needed. Unless you've been living under a rock or playing nothing but Overwatch or Fortnite your entire life, you'll have heard of and or played a game in the C&C series. Developed back in 1995 by Westwood Studios and published by Virgin Interactive, back when they gave a shit, the series passed into the hands of EA, back when they gave a shit, in 1998 when they went and bought Westwood. And now EA are digging into the basement to get in on the giant pot of nostalgia money that seems to have sprung up from nowhere. Remasters like this are pretty much no-lose scenarios for game studios. Most involved IPs that they haven't made any money off of in years. They come with guaranteed sales due to the aforementioned nostalgia of older gamers who will, in turn, wax lyrical about their memories of the game to all and sundry. If it sells well, they can just rinse and repeat for every other title in the series, further multiplying the cash cow, and then stoke the fires for another addition to the series to the now rabid fanbase. If it doesn't sell well, it doesn't matter. They at least got some value out of something that they're probably giving away for free at this point. In fact, in the case of C&C, they did actually give it away for free back in 2007. The only bit of work involved is to make sure that the project is handled by people who know what they're doing. This wasn't a big focus in the past, which meant that a lot of remasters were total cash grab shite, forever ruining the franchises, such as the Silent Hill HD collection, which took a game series most famous for its incredible atmosphere with the use of fog and removed the fog, to whoever it was at Capcom that kept greenlighting all those fucking garbage Dead Rising re-releases. Many franchises have been prematurely incinerated in history due to a poor remake, and most will never be dusted off again. Which is why it comes as a great surprise that EA have done the right thing and gotten in Petroglyph Games to do the remaster. Why? Because it contains many ex-C&C staff and is easily the best company around to do this. Much like what Naughty Dog did with the Crash Bandicoot series by hiring Vicarious Visions, EA have gotten talented people in who care and put a lot of time and effort into making sure that they did this right. And right they did. From the fantastic new intro where the EVA updates the game's graphics and sound. If you've never played the original, this scene is completely wasted on you. An intro I personally fucking loved. Then upon picking which game you want to play, it launches you straight into a perfect re-rendering of each game's title screen.
Upgrade complete. Welcome back, Commander.
This remaster gives you both the first Command & Conquer, known as Tiberian Dawn, and the first of the Red Alert series, along with all the add-on packs like the Covert Ops bundle, the special console missions, and the Counter-Strike and Aftermath bundles for Red Alert. That's quite a lot of content. Graphically, the game looks great. Great is relative though. If you're an OG, you'll be loving this. If you've no experience of the original, then you won't see what the big deal is. Handily, Petroglyph have included an option allowing you to switch between the old graphics and the newer ones to see what it really was like playing the game back when most computers had less memory than a fucking watch does nowadays. Again, this will only really hit home if you've prior experience. Every single sprite and model has been redone, and even the sidebars have been given a polish. The cutscenes have been given a nice facelift too. Although they still look fairly janky, the work put in is quite admirable. The soundtrack has come in for a sizable overhaul too. There's over 200 tracks available between original and remixed versions of the old music scores. Chief among them is an absolutely fucking banging version of Hell March that wouldn't sound out of place in a frantic first-person shooter. Also included is the ability to create custom playlists if you fancy it. The music and sound are excellent and really one of the shining pieces here. Gameplay wise, the game is virtually identical from how I remember it playing back in 1998, and I really do mean that. Played with the classic mouse setup, it really did transport me back to when I first slid the CD into the drive all those years ago. The units react and feel the same, which is to say that they're as dumb as shit and act with seemingly no regard to their own welfare. Building your base is as intuitive as it always was. The units all have their advantages and disadvantages, same as they always did. Save for a few minor tweaks to the gameplay, such as the ability to zoom out and queue up units, you're getting a properly authentic experience.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Waiting order. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Report acknowledged.
That's the main word I'd use to describe the game. Good and bad, they're subjective terms for the most part, as we all know, and they're purely up to each player to decide for themselves ultimately. but it cannot be argued that this remaster is a near flawless update. That doesn't mean it's good, that just means it's authentic due to the lack of changes. Unfortunately, some of the issues they've not changed are all the bugs, the lack of an ability for units to shoot and move at the same time, and the previously mentioned AI idiocy and a shocking degree as to which the game stacks the deck against you. And I feel that those are really issues that will massively turn off a lot of newcomers to the franchise, and a number of older ones. You see, back when I first fired up Command & Conquer decades ago, Jesus, it wasn't just the first time I or a lot of other players had played a Command & Conquer game. It was the first time we'd ever played a real-time strategy game. So a lot of the mistakes and errors made went unnoticed, as there was no real corpus of knowledge on how these games really play properly, or were it even possible to get them to play realistically. Now, with the benefit of knowledge, it's plainly obvious how poorly the game plays at times. A lot of the missions are reliant on you cheesing the enemy, and the way the deck is stacked against you is absolutely shocking. This will become hugely obvious when switching missions between the different factions. Units that would barely scratch the paint on an enemy tank are now shredding yours on only a couple of shots. Jeeps and buggies that would be next to useless on more than one infantry unit when you control them are now mowing down entire platoons of yours single-handedly. And you'll also find the enemy's bases tougher to destroy as well, as the building repair function seems to have modelled on Wolverine. Nothing will infuriate you more than having to send yet another load of tanks into an attack because one fucking tower is somehow holding out against almost 10 tanks due to the auto repair being stupidly overpowered. However, you use it and you'll be lucky if one machine gunner doesn't raze your entire base to the ground before you notice. In addition to overpowered units, the computer will have a whole raft of abilities you don't have, such as the ability to build buildings wherever it wants, see the entire map from the beginning, near unlimited money, and the ability to redirect our airstrikes mid-flight. Oh, and this is all on normal. Don't even fucking bother with the hard difficulty level. I mentioned the bugs before and I want to touch on them again now. A bright shiny new IP AAA release would be ashamed to have as many bugs as this. For a game with a code base that's 25 years old and has been completely reworked numerous times over, it's horrendous. From the queuing function just not working in certain missions, units not moving and the screen scroll deciding it won't register the right side of the screen, there are bugs aplenty here. Even some of the old bugs I can remember from 1998 are still here. Like one where quite often when you command a group of soldiers to attack a unit, one will always stay at the back and just not follow the order. The AI is also another huge bone of contention here. At times it's so stupid it's impossible to tell if it's even a bug or not. Command your troops to attack a unit and that unit moves, your guys will fucking run to the spot where the enemy used to be. Your units don't move in formations, leading to your faster, more vulnerable units speeding towards the enemy all on their own. Infantry attacking a tank, they'll bunch up right in front of it, making it simple for that tank just to run them all over. The lack of an ability to attack while moving gives the defending stationary unit a huge advantage. And the pathfinding. Oh my god, the fucking pathfinding! Call me a fanboy, but I really don't remember it being just this bad. It probably was now, but holy fuck, it truly has to be seen to be believed. The units look to take the most circuitous routes possible at all times. The heavy use of bridges and little river crossings that only allow one unit through at a time make navigating even the small sections of the maps an absolute fucking chore. You'll be hitting a level of unit micromanagement that you'll have only seen in your worst nightmares, and it'll all stem from the pathfinding being so awful. Often units will just stop altogether and not inform you of their inability to reach a commanded spot, even though the units literally never stop fucking talking in this game. Quite often you'll be looking for a unit or a harvester, only to find that it was destroyed because the pathfinding meant that, instead of following the safe path that all the other units are using and is the shortest distance away, it decided to take a route that led it directly through an enemy base. It's odd, I admire this remake for being a warts and all remake, very little adulteration to the gameplay and core mechanics, solid storyline, the wacky mission briefings and exceptional unit design. But I also really dislike the remake for precisely that. All of the issues that were there at the start, the bugs, the terrible AI, the crap mission layouts, the horrendous rubber banding and the horrible pathfinding, it's all still there. I suppose it takes balls to so unrepentantly repeat your mistakes like this, but that still makes the mistakes. If you want to truly see what it was like playing games at the start of this whole RTS thing, then you've no better guide than this.
Yes, sir.
Just remember that you're getting an authentic experience. Whether or not it's any good is up to you.
Mission accomplished.